This week we released Adaptable version 16, the latest version of our market-leading AG-Grid extension. Now, like all Adaptable releases, it comes packed with some kind of UI goodies that make visualizing data really powerful and easy. For instance, we have a new badge style, which, as you can see, renders cells in columns as badges, and you can have as many different rules as you want. So you can have a different color and a different icon, and you can use custom icons, etc, etc. So it's a very powerful way to see data, and we have other UI components as well. But probably the main element in Adaptable 16 is support for FDC3, and in particular for FDC3-2. And in this video, we're going to look at the Sandbox from Connectifi to show how Adaptable FDC3 features work. If you've not seen a Connectifi Sandbox before, it's highly recommended as a great way to get up and running with FDC3, to try things out, to see what's available, and to kind of understand this very exciting space. Now, obviously, Adaptable does work with other FDC3 platform providers like Interop.io, OpenFin, Refinitiv, all work straight out of the box. And in fact, if you're using Interop.io or OpenFin, you get other goodies as well. For instance, Adaptable's alerts will appear as inside their notification center. Adaptable state can be shared with their state, and perhaps most exciting of all, you can have two-way validated Excel between the grid and your spreadsheet. So Adaptable, in fact, sits in quite an interesting space because we're halfway between these platform providers like Connectifi, which we're going to look at, Interop.io, OpenFin, and then fully fledged kind of, vendor products like FactSet. Instead, Adaptable provides an FDC3-ready widget in our sensor data grid that developers can take, and it provides out of the box all the features that they can configure to put in the applications that they provide. So let's look at this FDC3 demo, and the first thing to say is don't worry about the data. It's meaningless dummy data. These numbers don't mean anything. The only things that are real are these tickers, because we're going to look at kind of particularly the FDC3 instrument context, and we've decorated it with some Adaptable goodies. So you can see we've got some format styles, we've got the new badge style we mentioned, we've got a sparkline column, and we've also actually got a calculated column here, which is using an aggregated expression. There's very little code which I'm going to show in this example, but there is one thing which I do want to show, and that is mappings, because they're really the heart of how FDC3 works. All FDC3 and Adaptable is provided through FDC3 options, and essentially you, the developer, provide a mapping. Here we've just got one mapping on instrument, but you can have as many mappings as you want, and those mappings essentially map to the FDC3 in Finos. So this is the instrument, and then this is essentially any intent which FDC3 provides, or any context which FDC3 provides, Adaptable fully provides too. And what we've done here is we've looked at our data and we've said we want the name in the instrument to be our column name, and we want to use the ticker, which is our field called symbol. So essentially we take a data first approach. You look at your data, you look at your columns, you look at your fields, and you work out what mappings you want. And then when you create those mappings, you can then use them to manage the intents that you want to raise and to listen for, the context you want to broadcast and handle, and any custom stuff as well. If you want to see more about this demo, it is available publicly on GitHub, and the README explains everything we're going to look at now, and in fact gives very full code snippets, so you can kind of really understand how it all fits together. So as I say, in Adaptable, you're able to raise and handle intents, you're able to broadcast and listen to context. We have full support for custom FDC3, and as we'll look at also at the end, or during the video in fact, we also provide FDC3 UI components like buttons, action columns, and context menus. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to raise some intents, and you can see in this column here, so let's say go to, let's find a good one, let's go to Apple. Here it is. We want to, in this we can view a chart, we can view news, and we can view an instrument. So let's do that. So we're using the Sandbox for that. So I can open a chart. Here it's opening in another window, but obviously you can open it in a tab, or you can have multiple windows. And then Connectifi has gone away and it's found the chart for Apple. Or if I want to raise the news intent, it would do the same thing. It has a news API, which is going to get all news for Apple. There we are. Or indeed, I can raise just the instrument intent, so I can view the financials for it. And there we are. We've got, once it loads, we've got Apple's financials. So standard raising FDC3 intents. We can also broadcast context. So if we want to broadcast context for other apps to listen to, we can do that. So here, obviously, everything is instrument. So we're going to broadcast the instrument content, and we're going to do that here. So we're going to handle the context, and we're going to say, I don't know, let's use the orange channel. So let's use the orange channel. We want FDC3 instrument. We want to add a listener. And now when I do Apple here, there we are, I get Apple, and that's using a column menu, but in fact I can also do it through a context menu. So for instance, if I want the context for this, Arthur J. Gallagher, I can broadcast that instrument, and there we are, I get Arthur J. Gallagher. So there, that's essentially broadcasting and raising intents coming from AdapTable externally. And how about the other way around? Well, again, we can handle intents and we can handle context. So let's first listen to an intent. So here in Connectifi, we're going to raise an intent, and we're going to raise the instrument intent. And in fact, you can see there's one already done, which is for IBM. So now when I raise that intent, I will say I want AdapTable to be my listener, and you can see what we've done is we've listened to that intent, and we jump to that row, and we make it yellow. So if I change that, say to AAPL, which I think is Apple, and I raise that intent, there we are, it jumps to Apple and it shows me the intent that we've handled. I can also listen to context, so let's do that. So let's join channel and broadcast. So now let's, for instance, go onto the yellow channel here. Let's go onto the yellow channel here. And if I now click on Intel, essentially what we do is we filter the grid. So we handle that context and we immediately filter the grid onto whatever comes in. And we can see the context we've received. So this is the Intel context that we just did, that was just broadcast from Connectifi, and these are the two intents as well. So this is what we've received for Apple, and this is what we've received from IBM. So essentially what we're doing is whenever the context raised, we just filter the grid to that by being on the same channel. We can also actually do custom intents. AdapTable has full provision for that. Now Connectifi comes with a nice custom intent called get price, which we're going to use. So if I want to get the price for Apple, I can do that. It will use that, and then once it gets the price, you can see we've received it, we've handled it, and we've put it in here. So I can essentially get any price I want using that custom FDC3 context, and then do anything I want with it. Normally, obviously, you'll probably put it in here, but as I say, these are fictitious numbers. So there isn't a lot more to show. Well, there is a lot more to show, but I'm not going to show much more now. Really, the last thing to mention is just how easy it is to put it all together. As you can see, we've got two columns. One here, which has all these buttons here, which we've used to raise intents and broadcast context. And we've got this column here, which is also kind of got this column here, which has also got a button, and they are incredibly easy to configure. I said I won't show code, but I told you a lie, I will. But essentially, just to listen to something, it's just as small as that. And this is all we've done for the context. We've said we want to listen to the instrument context that we created earlier in the mapping. We define what the context menu is, we define what the icon is, and we also define what the button is. And this button that we've defined here is this button here, and this context menu we've done here is obviously this context menu here. As I say, there's a lot more to FDC3 in AdapTable, but hopefully that gives you a sense of how easy it is to configure AdapTable to wire up any intent or context you want, including custom intent, and really to use AdapTable as the FDC3-Ready grid in all the interoperability applications that you're going to provide. As ever, thank you for watching. If you'd like to know more about FDC3 in AdapTable or any of our other features, please get in touch. We'll be delighted to provide you with a one-to-one personalised demo, or indeed give you a free, no obligation trial license. Thank you for watching.